What's up, everyone? This is Jake from the Garbodors, and today we're doing our longly awaited Garbodor deck profile. It's taken way longer than I want it to, but before I showed this particular list, being the beloved mascot of this channel, I wanted it to be at its fullest potential, and now I feel like it's almost at that point. Unlike being the regular Drampa Garbodor or Espeon Garbodor deck, I actually run both Espeon and Garbodor and Drampa in this deck, all three. And people that I've gotten advice from this deck list with, they all say you have to run one or the other. But running both for a long period of time, I really feel comfortable with this list, and I think more people should do it. That's why I'm trying to share it with you guys. So without further ado, we'll get right into this deck list. We started off with 4 Trubbish. I use the Stomp Off Trubbish because if I'm dead drawing at the beginning of the game, I can use Stomp Off and try to get some items in my opponent's discard pile early. It just discards the top card of your opponent's deck. And if they're dead drawing, then I can hopefully discard like a Professor Sycamore or something they might need to draw into. But you don't want to be attacking with him the most. You want to be attacking with Garbodor. It's amazing for its Trash Avalanche attack. Such a dark card you can't even see its picture. But Trash Avalanche does 20 damage times the number of item cards in your opponent's discard pile. So every time they play an item card, you punish them by 20 damage. This deck is pretty much based on punishing your opponent's actions if they do something wrong. You have to play pretty perfectly to be able to stop this deck, especially with Drampa and Espeon. And the reason we only run 3 of these Garbodors is because we run one of the ability lock Garbodors. This was in the deck since it came out, like pretty much every Garbodor deck, but it's really useful right now because there's Greninja, Volcanion, Decidueye, Vileplume, and Metagross that all are super ability reliant. So if you can set this up and keep it set up, then it can really be a pain to deal with for your opponents. So I run one of those. Now we'll move into our secondary attackers. We have 2 copies of Drampa GX. Drampa's, at least for me, during the pre-releases, if anybody who pulled a Drampa was sad, but it's proven to be one of the best GXs in Guardians Rising for all of its attacks. So it has 180 HP, it's a basic. Its first attack, Righteous Edge, for 1 colorless energy. It does 20 damage, and you discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active. Having this and Zoroark and, I don't know, Decidueye, everything you can imagine almost runs special energy. And to be able to discard them every time you use this attack can be really painful to your opponent. So if they play special energies, you can punish them by discarding it. Second attack is the main attack we're going to be using. It's Berserk for 3 colorless energies. It does 80 damage, which isn't all that good, but then it does 70 more if you have any damaged Pokemon on your bench. So if your opponent damages one of your Pokemon that isn't your active Drampa, then you punish them for damaging them. And say you're dead drawing, you can use your GX attack for 1 colorless energy. Big Wheel GX, you shuffle your hand in your deck and draw 10 cards. So if your hand's really bad and you have to use your GX attack on this, you get 10 cards, and then your opponent will try as hard as they can to play N. But even then you get a new hand, which isn't the dead hand that you had at the beginning. So it's a win-win, and if they don't have an N, then you get to keep the 10 cards and you can just go off. Now we run 2 EVs. You're never going to be using Quick Draw, but you have this EV because you can use Energy Evolution. When you attach a Psychic Energy, then you can search your deck and evolve into one of your 2 Espeon GXs. Now this card, it's really good because turn 1, if your opponent goes first and you start with Eevee, you can just attach a Psychic Energy to it and then use Psybeam for 30 damage and you can confuse your opponent. That's really good beginning throughout the entire game, just to confuse your opponent, because then they really have to consider what they're doing, and if they try to attack you, you can punish them by having them get tails, and then they do damage to themselves. And Psychic, the big attack with this guy, a Psychic and a DCE does 60 damage plus 30 more for each energy on their opponent's active. So again, you'll punish them every time they attach an energy to their active Pokemon, and this damage racks up fast. And if you want to use this GX attack, it's Big Wheel, or not Big Wheel, sorry, Divide GX does 10 damage anywhere in your opponent's field, and you get to arrange the 10 damage counters, anywhere you want on their side of the field, which can be really disruptive. Just to if they only have a certain amount of items in the discard pile, you can just set the numbers correctly so you can take 1 shots or 2 shots with Garbodor, and they just all work really well together. Now we run 2 Tapu Leles, and I know what some people might be thinking, why would you run this if you use it for an ability because you have ability like Garbodor? Well, these are for the beginning of the game. You bench it, you search your deck for any supporter, and then you put it in your hand. And then for DCE, you can use the half decent attack energy drive, 20 damage times the number of energies attached to both active Pokemon, but you don't get to apply weakness or resistance, which is kind of sad because Espeon and Garbodor are all prominent in the format. And since we do run Psychic Energy, you can use Tapu Cure if you want. It heals all damage done to 2 of your own benched Pokemon, which I haven't been put into a real situation where I need that to win, but it could happen at any time. And when that time comes, I have that and I can use it. And we only run, sadly, as much as I hate to say it, 1 Shaman. I love running 2, at least. I played Mega Ray, so I used to run 4. But 1 Shaman just to bench it and draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. It's never going to be a bad card. It's just, with the stadium we're running Team Magma Secret Base, you really don't want to have a 90 HP 2 prize card liability sitting on your bench. But when you do use it, it's helpful to have. And then Sky Return, you can just get it out of the active. And that's it for our Pokemon lineup. Now we'll move on to our supporters. We run 4 copies of Professor Sycamore. Discard your hand, draw 7. This is, I would say, a semi-anti-Garb list. I don't want to, well, no deck wants to play a bunch of items just because Garbodor's out. But I try to play a version of the deck that runs as little items as possible. So we also run 4 copies of N. Shuffle your hand, draw as many cards as you want as your prize cards. Each player shuffles his or her hand of their deck, and then they draw the number of cards they have prize cards remaining. So if you're behind in the game, you can disrupt your opponent's hand and then take your own prize cards. For Lysander, Carter gave me this idea to run the 4-4-4 supporter line because he got me out of using VS Seeker in this deck. I used to really be against it, but running 4 Lysander is the best thing I could have ever done with this deck. I always have a Lysander in hand, or I have a Rescue Stretcher for Lele, or one of my 2 Leles in hand, Ultra Ball. I can Lysander up whatever I want, whenever I want, and take it out with high damage with any of my main attackers. And our final supporter is Bridget, 1 copy. Now with Bridget, I find it being the rainbow card in this deck almost, because anytime I make a change to it, I end up taking this card out. I've used a second Rescue Stretcher in this deck, and then I moved to this and back to a second Rescue Stretcher. And sometimes I've been considering running the Supernatural Dance or a Choreo for Greninja, because it's helpful, kind of, because I can't knock it out with Drampa in 1 shot, the breaks at least. So I'm not sure what I want to do with this card, so if you plan on using this deck list any day, do what you want with the Bridget, because I'm not sure exactly where I want to go with that. Now we'll move on to our item count. We run 4 copies of Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for any Pokemon you want. It's obvious, you kind of need 4 in every deck to make it function smoothly. 2 Field Blowers, because Metagross is big, and if you get rid of their Field Blowers, then they can't one-shot Drampa. And any deck runs tools or stadiums that you don't want them to have the advantage of having on the field. If they have like a Gloom with a Float Stone, you can get rid of it so they might not evolve and item lock you. So many situations where Field Blower is helpful. And for example, today, to win a game, I Field Blowered my own ability lock Garbodor's Float Stone away, so I could bench a Tapu Lele, search for Lysander, and win the game. So you can use it on yourself sometimes if you have to. And now for our tools. So this, nobody told me to do this, I just found it being the best way to run the deck. I run 4 copies of Float Stone. Like I said, Volcanion, Greninja, Decidueye Vileplume, and Metagross, they see so much play. So to have a continuous ability lock throughout the whole game, 4 Float Stone is what gets that done. If they stay ability locked, then you can win those matches. You used to not have to run 4, but now that Field Blower is out, to keep the ability lock going, I recommend 4. And we run 3 Choice Bands to do 30 more damage to EXs and GXs. It's helpful on any of the attackers, and you should run at least 2 in every deck. Now we run 1 Rescue Stretcher and 1 Special Charge, either the 2 recycle cards of the deck. Like I said, this used to be 2 rescue stretchers here. And Special Charge, we run 7 special energies, and you Righteous Edge is a big attack, and once they get discarded, they're gone, unless you run Special Charge, and rescue stretchers just there to get Pokemon back. And our stadium card of choice with this deck, like I said earlier, it's Team Magma Secret Base. Whenever either player benches a basic Pokemon other than a Team Magma Pokemon, I believe nobody runs Team Magma Pokemon, you put 2 damage counters on it. This is used to fuel Berserk on Drampa, because if you have a Drampa ready to attack in the active and you bench a basic while the stadium's in play, you put damage on your own bench, which makes it so your opponent doesn't have to damage you. You can just put the damage on yourself and hit for large numbers. And for our energy count, we run 5 basic psychic energies. I have my cool Holland Phantom ones. I run the most of these because I kind of want to be able to hit energy evolution consistently. So we run 5 basic energies, and we run 4 copies of double colorless energy to supply Espeon and Drampa, and Lele if you have to. 4 these, and finally we run 3 copies of Rainbow Energy, the Team Rocket ones. Another way to damage your own bench, and there's no attack that you couldn't already use, which is Psychic and double colorless energy. But with the combination of these and Magma Base and your opponent just damaging your own Pokemon, Drampa will always be able to hit for at least 150, which is what you want to have done most of the time, so you can take big knockouts. And that is it for this deck. If you guys enjoyed it, you can use this deck, I don't really care. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to see more awesome content, let me know in the comments below what kind of stuff you would like to see, and subscribe for more videos. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.